Live from New York. It's a show that's delivering pure analysis, no fandom. As Brew likes to say, we wave the pom-poms for no one.
Someone has to wear a robe around here.
Wow.
You retire your
Shots
robe.
fired, bro.
Clinch
That's
the
a nice robe, too.
It is
Christine, why is his robe so much more plush than mine?
It is a nice, but it doesn't have little sandwiches on it.
Yeah, or
You know
pictures
what?
of it.
Brew, we didn't even, you were so out on the Ravens, he didn't even do the box.
I'm saving that for
I noticed.
when they're
And-
officially
and-
eliminated.
Can I say
Or
one other
if
thing
somehow
about that
they're
just real
not.
quick before you get to the
Yeah,
Bears?
by all means. Take your time.
We're also so
Very comfortable.
beyond the Ravens as like a real contender.
I know.
That you didn't do.
I know.
You went into their house
I ate a sandwich.
and ate a sandwich. Your team went to Baltimore and kicked their ass. And
Guys, we're about to talk about it. There's still time.
You know what? I was going to write a tweet. I was working on something.
you're gonna
I was thinking I had a tweet draft. I was like, oh, this win was just like airplane food. Like it got the job done. But it's
the
nothing to
worst.
brag about.
Yeah.
Just a
You're
six,
lucky I don't follow you on
just
Twitter.
a below
Honestly,
500.
today you're very lucky. You just got some odd retweets.
No, I'm just, no, I do not.
Oh, retweets are endorsements.
No, I do not. But right now, buckle up. We're headed to Chicago. Caleb delivered an epic comeback and an all-time victory in the Bears-Packers rivalry. He came on late and won the game. The best pass of his life? Even though he had the best pass of his life last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't write that, but it was really
Like professional.
satisfying.
I think
Yes,
we
you
can
did.
say that, right?
Pretty impressive.
The biggest, certainly the biggest.
Certainly the
Best of his
biggest. That's right. I love it. It's my ringtone. Wild asked me before the show. He's like, "Are you going to do good, better, best?" I was like, "Don't worry, it's coming."
It just plays very summer camp to me. But
You
it's
got to admit, the vibes are through the
Wait,
roof.
that plays very summer camp, but your coach giving out,
I heard in the
orange
locker room and
slices and
high five everyone. He's
That's
right.
nice.
Danny's right.
Like, oh, nice
Hold on,
Capri
Danny's
Sun.
right.
Good
The
effort,
we don't have
Oliver.
sing-alongs.
The broadcast on Sunday Night Football was like, we got to get Vrabel quickly because he has to greet everyone before they get in the locker room. And
I
you
do it
love
here.
slices
I
and
do it here.
Capri
I
Sun
come in
for
early.
everybody.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh,
Man,
little
great
Drake,
producing.
you
Let's
did
go.
such a nice job today.
All right. Put this win in perspective.
Yeah.
Can I ask a favor as well?
Sure.
Don't start talking about when you were a little kid and all this stuff. Yeah, like,
He's definitely going to.
just normal football.
He's definitely going to.
I was
Cutler.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't
he's
know that
done.
we can only talk about the Chiefs' history. The last 7 straight, we can only talk about your
Seven straight is fine, but not like I was in third grade.
We can only talk about your dynasty. Let me take you back to 2006. No, it was truly one of the most satisfying Bears wins of my life. I don't need to explain to you how sad that is and rank. I'm like, the 2018 game against the Rams when they won 15-6, that's in the top 5. So this was a truly incredible moment, and it was extra satisfying, yes, because of the scar tissue and the Packers and the rivalry and all of it. But sometimes in life and in sports, things can't really be explained logically. And sometimes I pray at the altar of logic and reason, but just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Do not deny the magic of this season. Sometimes there are magical seasons and magical moments, and it feels like that's what's happening to the Bears. And I'm not sitting here guaranteeing a Super Bowl or anything like that.
Well, they have magic
Right.
on their
What
side.
are you saying?
I was going to
The magic and they're going to lose in the first round? You got that magic.
There's a little bit of an angels in the outfield feel to it,
Yeah.
okay, if you want to talk about my childhood.
Yeah.
But seriously, man, okay, let's go through it. Caleb this season, you guys can talk about the numbers. You're like, oh, he's not completing 60% of his passes. What about when he's tied or trailing in the fourth quarter of overtime? He becomes the best quarterback in football. It doesn't make any sense how this happens situationally, consistently, time after time after time.
Drake May doesn't get a chance to do it.
Okay, all right, okay.
If he were better, right?
Sure,
if he were
because you
better
guys play
throughout
the
the
easiest
game.
schedule in the NFL. But then, all right, well, is it just Caleb? No, since their bye week in week 5, they're the best fourth quarter team in football. Across the board. You can never count them out. clutch, Ben Johnson factor, vibes, like whatever magic, like whatever you want to call it, there's something going on. And that situation specifically in that game, they have now been in, shockingly, 10 times this year, as in trailing in the final 2 minutes of the game. They are 6-4. They've won 60% of them. The rest of the NFL wins 12% of the time in that spot. So
instead of magic,
I don't know.
Is
I don't
that
know.
playing with fire?
Listen, is it sustainable for 10 years? Obviously not. But can it? A belief, a vacuum, a situation, a circumstance of events. Because it's not like they never blow teams out. They just blew out Cleveland. Like they have wins that are comfortable this year. The win over Philly on Black Friday was a comfortable win. But like a belief that in close spots, in playoff spots, because that was a playoff atmosphere and a playoff type game, that they can get it done. There's something to it, man. I have no better explanation for it than Matt.
I will give you this. Last year, remember, we're 5-2, I believe. Playing well or at least winning games, and then that
4-2 when the Hail Mary.
Hail Mary magical moment in the reverse happened, ruined their season. So it is interesting to me. I've thought about that. Like, wow, they're getting these types of wins where they got that loss that kind of ruined their year last year. So that's good. Look. I think they're live in the NFC. I mean, that was a good win. I think it was a gift. And I think the fact that they were getting beat by Malik Willis, is not good. I mean, that defense held, without Micah, obviously, held them to 3 field goals through the first 59-plus minutes.
Malik Willis played great in that game.
He played really well.
And he won games for them last year when Jordan Love got hurt. He's 26 years
old.
He
was 2-0.
Yeah,
but y'all should be in a must-win game, where they had beat you before. That should not have been the situation. So, but they came through at the end. Romeo Doubs handed you the gift, on the onside kick.
Magic.
But I'll give you credit because Caleb has been clutch, and I like the fact that he can tune out the noise in his own head and that's happening around him to be clutch in those moments.
Yeah, none of it happens without the onside kick recovery, and that Caleb and the Bears offense didn't earn, and that's all true.
Yeah.
But what is true is the onside kick recovery wouldn't have mattered if the Bears didn't dominate every snap of football after that. You get the onside kick, down a full touchdown, the execute on 4th down, making one of the most clutch plays in the NFL this season, and it was also kind of perfect that 2 weeks ago, Caleb was in a very similar spot, down 7. That was a 4th down, right? The one he threw the pick on?
Yeah, to come out.
No, it was 4th, not in goal. 4th and 1, and they took a shot to the end zone, and he throws the pick. This week, he's in that spot and makes one of the better throws he's made in his career. In overtime, the defense stood up. They forced the turnover on downs, to make this matter.
And that is to an undrafted rookie, by the way, because multiple Bears receivers were hurt. We talk about the injuries on Green Bay. Bears, everyone has injuries.
And then this is
Micah Parsons and Jordan Love a little.
So you think it's different than Luther Burden and Roma Dunze? Reasonable minds can disagree.
No, but DJ Moore, who had not been Caleb's favorite target, I think is fair to say, them having this moment when DJ Moore is the most gifted player on their offense outside of Caleb, in my opinion. I think that really matters. The tweak I would have is this, and I like Ben Johnson, but I said it last year, and what do they call me, KW?
Mr. Consistency.
Mr. Consistency.
That's what everyone calls him.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson did this nonsense too much last year, and he's done it too much with the Bears. The 4th down, you can't be running a 4th and 1 inside the 10, and you do the play calls for you're going to snap the ball through the legs of your tight end
to your 5'9"
running back to try to, I think, then throw a pass to Caleb Williams. That's what I think the play design was. That is.
He'll never not do that, though.
Right, and that worries me.
You have to live it, because when it hits, it does look great, and it is part of what gives them a high ceiling offensively.
No. So that's where I disagree with you.
Nah, it's part of it.
It can be part of it and be like, But early on in a critical game on
That I
4th
agree.
and 1,
Sure.
we don't need it. Like, it's not figure skating. You don't get style points.
I agree with
So
that.
I understand wanting to keep people on their toes and have, I'm not saying you have to be conservative at all times. But no, it's similar to how I felt about the Patriots running a fake punt when the other team's quarterback's Tyler Huntley. I'm like, the hell are you doing? Like, you had time and place for things. But I do think the Bears are live, and I do think that Caleb responding to the way the game ended against the Packers 2 weeks ago is a really great moment.
Iceman, you guys like that celebration?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Is that official now?
Oh, yeah, they're all calling him Iceman.
Iceman?
Yeah, I
Like
like it a
from
lot.
Top Gun?
Well,
He's got ice in his veins. He's got ties Peyton Manning for the most fourth quarter comebacks in a season by a player under the age of 25 from NFL.
Not bad.
He's got the
Not
most
bad.
touchdowns in the fourth quarter of overtime of any quarterback this year. More than Josh Allen, more than Stafford.
You know that
in one-score games.
I've had some breakthrough analysis
Oh, here we go.
on this program.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like a maverick of the sports world.
Top
I
Gun.
had
That's in
one-
Top Gun, too.
Yes. No, Top Gun 1.
Both great.
Like I had one guard Travis Kelce.
Sure.
Like he was unstoppable. I was like, get a hand in front of him.
Yeah.
How Caleb is so good in the fourth quarter. Just hear me out. Whole game. Like don't wait till overtime, the last 2 minutes to be down. Just if next time Ben Johnson's on the show, like, wow, that's a wacky idea. Play well the whole game rather than just
Like
at
you
the
did against
very
Cleveland.
end. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Recipe for
All right, I'll pass that note along.
Thank you.
No problem.
Head down to Baltimore. Patriots went to Baltimore, played with their food for a while before Drake May said, you know what? Make me a sandwich. Put his feet up on the coffee table to the tune of 380 yards, 2 touchdowns,
Rubbing it in.
and a spot in the playoffs. Meanwhile, Lamar left the game with a back injury. The Ravens couldn't hold on to the ball, and Harbaugh iced out Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. Daniel, we'll start with you yet again. What was the headline here for you? The Pats win or the Ravens loss?
I think it's the Ravens' loss. I mean, both stories are fascinating, and I love Drake May, and I legit Super Bowl contender, obviously. But if a team that is SBOB is going to miss the playoffs, and this is the final nail in the coffin, even though I know they are mathematically still alive, like to me, that's it. And there's so many parts of the Ravens' loss that deja vu all over again.
Yes.
Like the Lamar injury, how many times have we seen that this year? Derrick Henry fumble, Zay Flowers fumble. Like fumbling has been an issue for the Ravens, and weirdly, Derrick Henry, it's like the one blemish on a Hall of Fame resume. Weird coaching decisions.
Yeah.
Going away from Derrick Henry with 12 minutes left in the game and then kind of defending it or rationalizing it after the game. Well, we rotate our backs. Or you could not.
They're not equal.
It is an option when Derrick Henry only has 18 carries with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter to not stick to your pregame plan for a rotation there. So I just thought, while the Patriots win was very impressive, they've been impressive. And this Ravens thing was just a continuation of the end of their SBOB chances. So I put it more on the Ravens side.
It was absolutely the Ravens. I mean, it was a good win for you guys, especially the way you came back. But you guys are in the playoffs. You beat Buffalo. You've had some good wins. So
You just named it. The one.
you had that one good win. But, I mean, this may have ended John Harbaugh's tenure in Baltimore.
Yes.
And I think it should. You mentioned, I mean, how many big losses, have we come back and been like, why did they do this? Their strategy was odd. What happened there? Where was Derrick Henry? Where was the run game? Whatever it was. And so I just think it's time for a regime change there. And everything, it was all about the Ravens losing more so than the Pats winning.
I'm going to echo it, but maybe for a slightly different reason, because I think it's worse than you guys are describing. I think this is the end of an era in Baltimore.
Wow.
It is Lamar turns 29 in a couple weeks. This year has been the year he has been most plagued by injuries. Yeah. I think that's totally fair to say. I know he had the 21 and 22 seasons. He missed the end of the year with a single injury. This year he missed he missed a few games and then has dealt with multiple different injuries throughout his lower body, and now it's up to his mid body with the ribs. To me, he is playing stylistically this year a different style than he's played any year of his career, where running is not even his. Running used to be his fastball, then it became his off-speed pitch. Now it's like his eephus pitch. Like you're going to see it rarely, if ever.
Yeah.
That concerns me. Lamar, maybe it's good. I agree with you. They are going to move on from John Harbaugh. Now you're spinning the wheel. Like maybe you hit the right coach,
right.
but there is a real risk in moving on from.
Plenty of coaches get fired,
and plenty of coaches you realize, oh wait, this guy has no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy's not head coach, and I don't see. Maybe we'll see who else gets fired, whatever it is, but there isn't that Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, coach in waiting.
Right.
The way, it's like, oh, we thought Belichick maybe was going to be the established coach that is going to have his pick of jobs. That doesn't seem to be the case right now. Baltimore was the standalone Super Bowl favorite going into this year. They were, I think, second Super Bowl favorite behind only the Chiefs going into last year. They went into the playoffs the year before as the Super Bowl favorite. I don't think that's happening next year. I think that they are and so it is a potential to have squandered Lamar's prime.
Well, it is the end of an era if Harbaugh gets fired, and this is Lamar's age 28 season, and in his age 27 season, he was the runner-up for MVP.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm just saying it's very possible that in his age 29 season, he's back to MVP form, or are you writing that off?
No, I don't. I don't think we are going to see that peak, that level of Lamar again, because he doesn't run.
Well, I'm claiming he didn't run. He didn't run this year, and I don't remember.
He wasn't hurt all year, bro.
Yeah, I don't remember. Was he running in the first few games? I don't really remember.
Game one against
He
Buffalo,
wasn't running. He hasn't run a lot all year.
Correct.
I mean,
he's been hurt for 8
But
games.
to your point, the first 4 games, whatever, he was phenomenal. And so I hear you, because I used to think, Nick, and I actually remember talking about this with you on this show before I was a co-host, but I thought his career would be short because he's a running quarterback, and you're just going to take the hits and eventually he's going to catch up with you. But he's become a much better passer than I or probably anybody thought he would become. And I think everything they said he couldn't do, he's done. And even to the point of getting better in the playoffs. Now, he hasn't gotten over the hump, obviously, but he has had some really good playoff games. And I think, yes, it'll be different if he is not a running threat anymore, but I think he will just become that much better of a passer. And, again, I'm calling for them to get a better receiving core if he's going to be throwing the ball more than he ever has. Because he's still young. So he's very young. No other quarterback, are you saying, at 29 is not going to
but again, I think it is part of the stylistic piece. I also think that a lot of the arguments that are probably fair that people use, that I have heard about why when Mahomes comes back, like the Chiefs, when people say the dynasty is over, why they're going to have trouble, having that level of dominance, apply to the Ravens in triplicate. Like the AFC, we're going to come into next year. One of these quarterbacks is going to be coming off either winning the Super Bowl or getting to a Super Bowl. We assume Drake May is only going to be better. The people, I'm not one of them, but people think that the Bengals, that they're at some point they are going to bounce back. I'm not a huge believer in Bo Nix, but they're 12-3, and the other people think he's better than I am, that team is going to be around. We're not getting to it because we filibustered on this, thank God. Seems like the Chargers are a little hot.
Justin Herbert.
And so I think that their best chance at making and winning a Super Bowl has passed them. Doesn't mean they won't have other chances, but I don't think they are. I think the Ravens are going to enter another season in Lamar's career as the Super Bowl favorites? No, I don't. And I think that that's a wasted opportunity.
All right, welcome back. We start with the Steelers. Pittsburgh went into Detroit. They were 7-point underdogs. They got a wild win, very confusing win late. It was 266 yards and a touchdown for Aaron Rodgers. massive spot given the situation with the Ravens and the AFC North. They can win another division, lock in another winning record, by the way, for Mike Tomlin. They get to 9 wins. But now we also have some breaking news. Because there was the altercation between DK Metcalf and that fan in the front row, the NFL has just announced that DK Metcalf will be suspended for 2 games, which obviously is the rest of the regular season as you see it here. File that away under things that you cannot do. Willie, how should Steelers fans feel now with this news but the win?
Well, this right here is asinine. I was frustrated when I saw this because not only it cost them money, but you cost your team an opportunity to win the last 2 games, which are important, especially if you want to seal up the division. And now you're looking at a young man who, listen, he was brought here to be the difference he has thus far, but this is what the Steelers was afraid of, his immaturity. And now it reared its ugly head. Like, Coach, you've been on the field, I've been on the field. I've said worse things and done worse things verbally, right? But I also understood, and I had to understand as I grew into my career, either I was hurting my team or helping my team. That right there is hurting his team. And you have to understand. Hopefully he understands that. So I think the NFL did the right thing. I hate it for the Steelers. But moving forward, man, watching that game, it felt like the Steelers got their identity back, especially on the ground. Jaylen Warren had those 2 45-yard touchdowns. He rushed for 143 yards. And it felt like they were finally in sync with Aaron Rodgers. I think that was the biggest thing with Aaron Rodgers and his offense. It felt like he was always 2 steps ahead of where the offense needed to be, and now it seemed like everybody's caught up to him, and they're playing better and they're looking better. And defensively, man, without T.J. Watt, and you're able to kind of suppress Jared Goff the best you can at home on the road, on the road against the Lions, you know, you have to feel good with the win. So I'm happy. It feels like a validation. In 9-6, now you got to go finish it.
Yeah, the fans at stadiums can be brutal, and especially if it's quiet, and sometimes in those pregame warm-ups.
It's nasty.
Yeah,
I've had all types of things said to me.
Yeah, I have too, but it's part of the business. It just happens. It doesn't make it right necessarily, but you've got to be able to control that side. But I'd say where the Steelers should be happy, especially considering this, is the emergence of Marcus Valdes-Scantling. So he's come on a little bit. And then Adam Thielen, he had 3 catches this last game. Scotty Miller, he had 3 catches. These are 3 guys that weren't really part of the offense even a month ago, but now all 3 of these guys contributed this last game, and I think they're going to continue to be able to contribute and pick up some of the slack of losing DK. In terms of the overall feeling, they've got to feel great. They go in and they beat a team that's just as desperate as they are, so it's essentially a playoff game. They do it on the road. They do it in a convincing style. They're running the ball really effectively, not just in this game, but collectively they've gotten better and better throughout the course of the season. And then the Ravens lose. So it's a great day in Pittsburgh Nation outside of the suspension with the asterisks of these 3 other guys are picking up some slack.
Christmas came early, DP.
Well, so the thing is, like, the DK thing, I'd actually feel lucky. I mean, it's only 2 games. He could have been. They could have said you're suspended for the season. Wild card round, divisional round.
Well, he's gonna have to deal with most. Like, this fan could sue one. That can be, and they can press charges on it.
Sure.
So all that's still on the table.
But I'm saying that's a DK Metcalf problem. Like, how should a Steelers fan feel? You should be able to beat Cleveland without DK Metcalf, and if you do that, you're going to the playoffs.
Yes.
And then when you get to the playoffs, you're going to get DK Metcalf back.
Right.
So, like, for the like, obviously you can't do what DK Metcalf did, but from where I'm sitting, that punishment actually could have been harsher for him.
Sure.
And if they beat the Browns, they probably would rest DK Metcalf anyway the last week.
Exactly. But the big picture part of it, I have to be honest, I can't really relate to Steelers fans because I cannot relate to being bored and upset with just being good. Because, like, this locks in another winning season, right? Mike Tomlin will not have a losing record, everyone's favorite thing, but they will go into the playoffs having won a bad division, almost assuredly, hosting a playoff game, and they will play the Chargers or the Bills in round 1, and I will pick them to lose that game. Which would be then they still haven't won a playoff game since 2016, extend the record.
So it sounds like you're saying this is a Steelers' worst nightmare.
Well, it's where they've been. How many times have we seen the Steelers won 9, 10, or 11 games, made it to the playoffs, and lost in the first round?
But here's something that's encouraging. And as an older team, about mid-season, that really wears on you, and typically there's a drop-off. But as you get close to the playoffs, when you've got a bunch of talented older guys like they do, they see light at the end of the tunnel, and they can play up. Yeah, they can play up to their skill level again for that brief amount of time. And suddenly a team that looks pretty average or has been looking average now doesn't look so average anymore.
They get dangerous.
And they're good. They're really good in giveaway takeaway. They're really good in sacks. They're improving in running game. They're broadening the range of receivers. And there's light at the end of the tunnel with guys that have won a lot of games historically. I wouldn't totally just slot them in for one and done.
Well, I also said, think about the start of the season, how we viewed the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially the back five of this season. We thought they were going to be done, right? It was like this back five could be brutal. The Steelers could be wiped off the planet. They've answered the bell every week and got stronger and gotten better, to coach's point, and they're doing it without T.J. Watt. And now you're looking at this team come together, and they're believing, but they're rallying behind Mike Tomlin and all the stuff that came with him. Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem as frustrated. He seems like he's in sync with the offense, and the defense now responding to the level where they're able to stand up in situational moments. So I'm with Coach. You can say what you want, but now they're starting to arrive, and so you should be wary if you're other teams in the AFC.
All right, so I know you're a Steeler. I understand that. Would you pick them to win against Buffalo in the 4 or 5? You would.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you? I would not.
I'm not sure if I would or not,
Okay.
but I wouldn't. I don't think I have the conviction that you have. That it's just
He's talking like we just going to get mopped up and down the field.
It's kind of a buy for Buffalo if they get the Steelers. I don't think it's that.
Okay. I mean, and then the other possibility would be the Chargers. That's what it would be actually right now. The Chargers have a tougher schedule down the stretch than Buffalo. Chargers beat them 25-10 back in early November. So that was an impressive win. And Jaylen Warren looked really good, and Rodgers has looked better recently. So I understand reason for some optimism. Until I see otherwise, it feels like I'm just going to see deja vu. And the same thing with the Steelers. Make the playoffs and then lose in the first round. All right, let's play He Said, We Said. The best sound from a wild weekend of football, really start to finish, an incredible slate of games, giving you the best analysis off of that sound. First up, Jags head coach Liam Cohen, well, he had something to say about Sean Payton's comments leading into the game. I mean, listen, I'm a huge Liam Cohen guy now, because he went at Robert Saleh for the sign stealing thing.
He walked up on him.
He barked back at him in person, then he takes a shot. He doesn't. I don't care about your accolades or your rings or your comments. You're going to take a shot at me. And by the way, note to Sean Payton, market size doesn't really matter. This isn't baseball.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. What is the market? There's a salary cap. Like everybody.
The salary cap,
that's the
salary
same amount of money.
It's revenue sharing is equal. Very odd. It's like he's still in the media. It's a small market.
It was kind of like a backhand comment when somebody says you have something going well. You got that little business?
Yeah.
You got that little store? Oh, that's nice.
How's that little business going?
Yeah. Right. But also the Jaguars are playing the nobody believed in us card very well. Their social media team is putting out all of the talking heads who are making comments about him. Kevin Wildes is apparently the face of that. And Wildes is devastated because he's not made to play the villain. Nick and I can handle being the villain.
He doesn't do well.
Brew and Wildes are the nice guys, so Wildes is distraught. He's like, Duval Nation's mad at me.
Wait, do they have trouble getting people that didn't believe in them?
Well, I'm just saying the first person
line them up.
The first person on the clip is Wildes, and so I just find it funny, and I love that Liam Cohen is steering into it.
Wildes, enemy number one in Duval.
Yeah, it's tough.
No, this was a big win for the organization, and I'm trying to. Maybe you can help me with this, DP. Do you think this is the biggest win in Trevor Lawrence's career? Because
he's won a playoff game, yeah.
But to go into Mile High on the road, they break their 11-game winning streak. He plays great. The defense stood up in situational moments, and I thought if this is the Trevor Lawrence we're going to get come January, a lot of teams better come with their lunch pail because it's going to be a long day for them.
Yeah, count me as one of the people that didn't believe in him, and I didn't believe in him in Denver against that defense with that streak, and throughout the course of the game, I kept thinking, when is Jacksonville going to revert back to being Jacksonville? When is Trevor Lawrence going to do the Trevor Lawrence type things? He didn't. They didn't. That's a huge.
They went 4 for 5 in the red zone. That's efficient, baby.
Liam Cohen got a career year out of Baker Mayfield. Now he's got a career year out of Trevor Lawrence. Sign of a great coach.
Grown-ass man, I told you.
In Jacksonville. Okay. Next up, Josh Allen and the Bills. They pulled out that win. Closer than they'd like over the Browns. Felt to me like they were playing with their food a little bit. Just sleeping on Cleveland, not taking them too seriously. Sure. They're not really being they're not going to get the 1 seed. The Patriots are out in front of them. They're pretty comfortably locked into where they're going to be, but they're in the playoffs. It just felt to me like they didn't take the Browns terribly seriously. I would not overreact to the style points for the Bills in this spot.
Yeah, this is a very predictable result in a lot of ways because they had the emotional game against New England, and then next week they had Philly. So in between, they've got Cleveland, and I'm sure they're thinking, we're going to go in there, we'll roll the ball out there. Cleveland will make a little bit of a game early, but Shador will throw us a couple picks. We'll run away with this thing. And it stayed closer a lot longer than they were comfortable with, or I'm sure they wanted it to be.
Yeah, the game was clunky, but they also had to feel good. You know, Josh Allen didn't have his A+ game, and they got out the building with a W. And I think the fact that James Cook really kind of led the way, and I've said it time after time at this desk, when the ball goes through him, they have a high success rate, and they were able to do that. He ran for 117 yards. But I also think the Bills right now have to be careful because at this point, your habits are who make you, right? So if you don't win in dominant fashion, you don't show up and be who you need to be, and you do go against a team who can really knuckle up against you, you can find yourself in trouble. So they have to play better.
And we're going to just say it 100 times between now and the playoffs. Like, the AFC is wide open.
Yes.
Anybody can get got in any spot, so you don't want to play down to your opponents. You would assume that's not going to happen in the postseason, but like we've seen Buffalo's best. This was very far.
Clunky.
It was very far from their best. But like you play like that in a playoff spot, they can lose to anybody.
I feel like the AFC and the NFC are wide open. To me, this season is so different than most seasons I can remember, where a multiple amount of teams could win the Super Bowl, and it's hard to say this team is definitively the favorite.
I felt that way about the Rams, and the Seahawks beat them.
Yeah.
The Seahawks beat them. And then the Eagles will be in the playoffs, but they're the champs, but they don't look as good as they do. Yeah, but so Buffalo's just everyone's going to pick them because of Josh Allen, but that performance was not very good. All right, let's get to my guy, Caleb Williams. I mean, listen, we saw the throw. We should probably hear what Caleb had to say after making the throw. So maybe you guys who have coached and played the game would say that this is just such an obvious observation. But Ben Johnson said many times in the preseason and early in the year, we're going to be playing our best ball at the end of the year. I feel like people like me sometimes talk about like the leap that a player makes from year 1 to year 2 or the second year in a system. It is very obvious that Caleb Williams is getting better over the course of the year. And I know it still isn't consistent throughout games, and these throws are incredible late, and he's clutching. We could talk about all of it, and it was one of my favorite moments as a Bears fan in my entire life. Honestly, like legitimately top 5. But I do think they are dangerous because he is clearly getting better as the season goes on, and I think that's a thing, though, Coach, you're smirking at me like you don't agree.
Look, I struggle with this. It was a great win, okay?
Thank you.
But we're talking about a team that was 2 for 11 on third down.
Yeah.
They had 10 penalties.
Terrible.
They had 26 minutes time of possession. They had a 1% chance to win the game, and recovering that onside kick was fluky. And look, you have to make these plays at the end of the game, but he didn't play a very good game for the majority of this game with no Jordan Love, with no Micah Parsons, and to come out and be like, yeah, you know, that's how we drew it up, and I like confidence, but there should also be some realism in this victory too.
Listen, I get all that, but this team feels like they're destined in a weird way, and I hate to say that because I love poking fun at Danny, but when everything you mentioned, especially without, you know, they didn't have Luther Burden, they didn't have Ndunze, they were stagnant running the ball. Defense, you know, they were able to stand up and sudden death, but overall, they got out the building and they pretty much ignited the rivalry. And so you're talking about all the momentum they've gained out of this win. You have to feel good as a Bears fan. They've been in the dumps long enough, and you finally have a great quarterback who's growing as he goes. You have an explosive #1 receiver. You have a defense that's playing ahead of their skis. They just feel like this is like Disney wrote this for them. It feels like we may see them at the show.
Yeah, I was.
This may not have a happy ending.
Okay, listen, it's been a happy season. They're 6-4 when trailing in the final 2 minutes of these games. It doesn't make any sense. I was standing on my couch for minutes after that game ended. My wife said, "Can you get off the furniture?" I'm like, "I don't think I can."
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.